Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Each week, we are serving up motivation and inspiration to help you get weeknight dinner on the table, letting you recapture a little calm in the crazy. And now, your host, speaker, author, and married mother of four, Mariefiebach.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast, episode 106. I'm your host, Mariefiebach, and today we're going to talk about holiday gift giving. In the Feed Your Family Tonight holiday planning guide, there is a large section about gift giving. I love presents. I love to give presents. I love to receive presents. If you are familiar with the 5 love languages, it's a book by Dr. Gary Chapman where he talks about there are 5 ways that people give and receive love. My love language is presents. I love thoughtful presents. And my husband has picked up on this and will give me not expensive gifts. I'm not saying he gives me boxes from Tiffany's or anything like that. One time he set an alarm on my phone that I didn't know about. The alarm went off and it said, go look in the toy cabinet. And in the toy cabinet was a wrapped box of yellow dish gloves, like from the dollar store. It was a $1 present, but he knew that I had gotten a hole in my dish gloves, that I needed a new pair of dish gloves, and he thought to surprise me with them. And I was delighted by a pair of yellow dish gloves. So it doesn't have to be big gifts, but small little gifts are so fun. As we think about the holidays, especially if you have children, the gifts can get really, really overwhelming. You have oftentimes, at least I do, I have grandparents and aunts and uncles that are asking for gift ideas for my children, and they're asking for gift ideas for me. It can get really overwhelming really fast. Over the years, I have managed this overwhelm a lot of different ways. One way was just to kind of keep it in my head and start throwing out suggestions, and that was a disaster because I would repeat suggestions to different people and my kids would end up with like 3 of the same gift, and then I felt like I was a bad mom, and it gets you into this whole little spiral. So keeping the ideas just in your head for me totally doesn't work. I have done spreadsheets on the computer. I have done notes on my phone, and I have done the Feed Your Family Tonight gift giving lists from the holiday planning guide. And for me, the gift giving lists have been the tool that has worked the best. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first one is that I need to get the ideas out of my head and onto paper. I often do keep a running note in my iPhone, and I will take those ideas and transfer them to the paper. But the paper helps me to see more clearly what suggestions I have for my children, and then divvying them up to the people that are going to be giving my children gifts according to the type of gifts that they like to give. So let me give you an example of that. My son was giving me some suggestions, and there was a particular college sweatshirt that he really wanted. And I said, okay, well, find a couple online and send them to me, and I'll send those to one of your grandparents. One side of the family is really good at picking out clothing. My father-in-law has taken my son to the store and picked out a dress shirt and then taken that dress shirt to the tailor to make sure that it fits him properly. That side of the family is really good at picking out high quality, beautiful clothing. And so if my child is wanting a quality piece of clothing, I often suggest it to that side of the family. My mother is good at finding bargains. So if you're wanting something that is a little out of your budget, my mother is usually the person that can find it at a bargain somewhere. And so I'll often give her those treasure hunt ideas, and she likes to go on the treasure hunt to find things. It's just funny how different people like to give. And by putting all of these ideas on these gift giving lists, it helps me sort the information better. I have printed for me 14 gift giving lists. And you're going to think, you are crazy. But let me kind of explain what I do is I print one sheet for each member of my family. I print a sheet for my husband's side of the family, a sheet for my side of the family. I print one for my husband's coworkers and one for my coworkers and one for neighbors and one for the teachers. And then I can kind of start listing all of the people that I need to give gifts to and all of the gift ideas. So this gift giving list has a place for category, and that category may be your child, or it may be neighbors or coworkers or whatever category you have. Then it has a list for the person that is in that category, or for me, on my kids, it's the person that I've suggested that gift idea, so that person can kind of go back and forth. A place to list all of the gift ideas, where you can buy it, what your budget is, which honestly we should be starting there. Have you bought it, and where did you put it? Have you wrapped it, and where did you put it? And has it been delivered or given? How many times have we purchased something early in the season and we cannot for the life of us remember where we put it, and then we find it in like January? I have done it. I know many of you have done it. I hope some of you are just, as you're listening, just nodding your head saying, totally has happened to me. For me, I've done a few things to help manage that besides have these spaces on the gift giving sheet so that I can keep track. When I buy gifts for my children online, I have them shipped to my mother's house. And my mother and I have kind of a code. If it is shipped to her house, but it has my name on it, then she knows that she can just put that aside and I'll have to go and get it. If it is shipped to her house and it has her name on it, that means it's something that perhaps she has quote unquote purchased for my children. I don't know about you, but my grandparents in our house often will say, will you just buy it and I will pay you for it? And so I'll buy it and I'll have it shipped to her house and it'll have her name on it and she can open it up and wrap it herself. It works for me because my mom is a half a mile from me and it's easy for me to go back and forth. In this year of pandemic, you want to do any online shopping extra early because the supply chain is going to be a little bit disrupted. It is always extra busy for shipping this time of year, but adding the pandemic on top of it, shipping is going to be a much slower process than what we are often used to. I just want you to be aware of that. There are some lowest cost shipping deadlines as early as December 13th. If you are wanting items to be there by Christmas, I highly recommend that you buy them before the 15th of December, even earlier if possible. Last year, I bought something on the 15th of December and it showed up on the 24th. And that was 9 days. And that was before we had a pandemic. So I highly, highly, highly recommend if you are buying online to ship as earlier as possible. With these gift giving lists, it has on there, where can I buy it? What retailers can I get these items at? What websites can I buy these items from? And then I can take all of my gift ideas and I can look at all of the retailers. And then I have a sheet that says shopping list by retailer or website. And I know that I am going to write Amazon because I'm sure I'll be buying a few items from Amazon. I'm usually getting a few things from Kohl's and all sorts of other different retailers. I will list each retailer as to where I'm getting these items, and then I can write the items by retailer. So at Amazon, I might be getting a gift for my best friend, and I might be getting a gift for my daughter, and a gift for the mailman, and a gift for my husband's coworkers. And these are all different categories of gifts, but I can sit down at my computer and I can buy it all at once. This is even more important when you are going to physical store locations. If you can make one trip to the mall and hit all of the different stores that you need in the mall to getting all the different things at once, you are going to save yourself so much time. With online shopping, you're going to save yourself time, but you're going to save yourself money too, because you will be having higher dollar amounts in your orders, which means your shipping charges will usually be lower. Putting this all onto paper and getting it all put together into one space is going to give you so much more brain space. For me, it takes a lot of time because I like to put a lot of thought into my gifts. When I start writing on my gift sheets, I usually have to kind of muse and ponder on them for 2 or 3 weeks before I'm ready to go and purchase. In the meantime, I'm often looking at websites, seeing where can I buy these things, kind of researching what the cost is, researching different options. If I'm looking for something like a pot or a pan, I'm looking at the different brands and I'm looking at the different qualities, and I'm kind of turning my brain around the different ideas of what I can do. I'm thinking about places that I can buy things locally. Teacher gifts are something that I've kind of decided once a long, long time ago. My dear friend makes personalized notepads. And actually, I remember one time I was at my mother's house and our neighbor across the street, who was a teacher, was there, and my friend was there, and we were decorating Halloween cookies, which is something that my mother does every year, and it's kind of fun, and everybody brings the kids over and decorates Halloween cookies. And I asked the neighbor who was a teacher, I said, what would be a fun but inexpensive teacher gift that would just delight you? And she said, teachers are always needing notebook paper. I would really love a personalized notepad. So I looked to my other friend who was a graphic designer and I said, could you make personalized notepads? And she said, I totally could make personalized notepads. She now sells hundreds of these personalized notepads every year. That first Christmas, I asked her to make me some and she printed them up for me. And then she asked a few other friends if they wanted some. And now she has this like big business where she's making these personalized notepads. They're less than $10 each, but it's just a neat little teacher gift. So I buy those every year for all of my kids' teachers. And I've got middle school and high school students. So each of those kids have 8 teachers. So it kind of adds up. And it's a lot of teacher gifts, but it's something that's thoughtful and personal and useful. It's not something that's there to like clutter your life. It's something that they can use. They can use it to write their grocery list at home, or they can keep it at school and use it for their notepads at school to send notes home to parents or whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care how they use them, but it's something that's fun that I like to give my teachers. So I have decided once on that. My husband's coworkers and the people that I work with, I often try and send homemade food gifts. I also like to do that for the neighbors. For years, I would try and do that with my children when they were younger, but we would try and keep them from like licking their fingers and making things look nice. And I decided a few years ago that I wasn't going to do the iced sugar cookies or things that required my children to help me to give to friends and neighbors. What I decided to do is we would enjoy decorating the gingerbread cookies, just our family, keep them just for our family, and I wouldn't have to worry about kids licking their fingers. And I would make something else that took less time for me to make than doing cookies. And I would give that to neighbors and coworkers. And I've given a variety of different things. In a few minutes, we'll go over some of the food gift ideas. But I'm encouraging you to think about, you want to build the memories with your children, which I definitely do, and you want them to be part of the giving process. So perhaps having them help you is the way to go, but perhaps just enjoying the process of making those special treats is enough. And then you do something just for the neighbors and coworkers that is a food gift that doesn't require the children to participate. I still have my children do the deliveries to the neighbors and that type of thing. Kind of maybe think outside the box a little bit. The most important thing with gift giving is to set your intentions at the beginning. Know what your budget is. List the people that you are wanting to give gifts so that you're not scrambling at the last minute. Make a full list. Get everything out of your mind and onto paper, and then start writing down ideas, figuring out where you can buy that, and then combining your shopping trips for everyone so you're not making several trips to the store. Now, I said at the beginning of the podcast that I would talk about food gifts. I have lots of fun ideas for food gifts, and this year I think I'm going to try something new for some of the food gifts that I'm giving. In the past, I have given puppy chow. That recipe is on my website. It is super fast, super easy to make. It's not very expensive, but it always brings delight and joy to people when you give it. Now, it does have peanuts in it, so if you are giving to people with peanut allergies, it's probably not the thing to send. But I have found that puppy chow is just a really fun recipe that people love to eat, but they often don't think to make for themselves. It's fast and easy and simple and brings delight and joy, which for me is as win-win-win as you're going to get. I have done candied nuts. I have a maple candied nut that basically has nuts and sea salt and maple syrup. So it's all whole foods. It's paleo friendly. I have made those and put them into pretty cello bags and given those to people. My mother is the cookie lady. When she gives you cookies, she gives you a platter of 4 or 5 different kinds of cookies. I think I've talked on the podcast about how my mother will take an afternoon and make like 76 batches of cookie dough and have it in the freezer. And then she will just get up one morning at like 3 or 4 in the morning and just bake cookies all day. And then she will wrap them up. Some she will mail, some she will deliver. That's how she likes to give cookies. My mother also makes a lot of candy. My mother and my aunt are both master candy makers. My aunt actually sells her candy professionally in a professional kitchen. Like, she has taken her recipes to professional bakeries and started making her candy there for them. She makes fudge and toffee, and my mom makes fudge and toffee and caramels. She has a cinnamon candy that tastes kind of like a cinnamon Jolly Rancher that's so good, and peanut brittle. Candy ships really well. So if you are wanting to make a treat that ships really well, candy doesn't necessarily break too much, and so it ships really well. So that's something to consider. Other ideas for food gifts include Chex Mix. My dear friend Anne makes some of the best Chex Mix you have ever had. I have a recipe on my website for perfect party mix. That's really, really good. And again, it's kind of the same idea as the puppy chow. It's simple, it's not hard, but it still brings delight. And I like the Chex Mix because it's a little bit savory rather than sweet. So many times at the holidays, we are inundated with sweets. And so something savory is kind of nice. Kind of along the savory idea is taco mix. I have my big batch taco mix, and I will make that and put it into little 1/2 cup jars with my recipe for taco meat. And that's kind of a fun little food gift that's a little bit savory. I've had people gift me special quick breads. We have an old friend of the family, and she would make in her bread maker this special honey whole wheat bread that was absolutely delicious. And she would give that. And then another friend of my mother's makes the most amazing brioche bread you have ever had in your life. Someday I need to get her recipe because it is so rich and buttery and so good. So if you have a special bread recipe, that might be fun. I am toying with trying to get a kit for my beer bread where I have all of the dry ingredients mixed up and then can give it to someone with a bottle of beer, and all they have to add to it then is a stick of melted butter. That's something that kind of is, I'm toying with, kind of a mix idea that might be fun. Kate Strickler of Naptime Kitchen will often gift her mother's salad dressing, and I have a couple of salad dressings that I really like, and I am seriously considering gifting salad dressing to our neighbors this year. It's something that has to be refrigerated, so it probably wouldn't be good to give to like coworkers because you don't want it sitting at people's desks all day. But if it's someone that's going to be close to a refrigerator or like a neighbor, I'm really thinking that salad dressing might be fun. If you have planned ahead, it's a little late to start it now, but homemade vanilla is something that I have given in the past as gifts at Christmas time. I make a homemade vanilla. That recipe's on the website too. But think outside the box a little bit. Think about food gifts that are fun and easy. And again, try and think about making things that bring delight, They don't have to be fancy. They don't even have to be sweet, but food gifts can be something that's really fun. I can't wait to hear what kind of food gifts you like to give and how you organize your gift giving in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group. Join me over there and we will talk about holiday gifts. So for now, friends, take care. Picture yourself sitting in your decorated home in the midst of the holiday season. All of your gifts are purchased and wrapped, dinner's in the oven, and you're enjoying a moment of rest or are spending quality time with your family. No overwhelm, just calm. The Feed Your Family Tonight Holiday Planning Guide is here to help you manage the hundreds of little tasks that come with the holiday season. From shipping to roasting a turkey, we have got you covered. You'll plan your gifts, your meals, your decorating, and so much more. And new this year, we've added the Countdown to Christmas worksheets. Whether you're starting in October or starting in December, these worksheets will help you get out of the overwhelm and focus on the things that are most important to you this holiday season. For more information, visit feedyourfamilytonight.com/holiday and get your own copy of the Holiday Planning Guide.
Thanks for listening to Feed Your Family Tonight podcast with your host, Mariefiebach. If you like the show and want to know more, please visit feedyourfamilytonight.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, please leave a rating or review on iTunes or Apple Podcast. It helps spread the word that you can feed your family tonight.